All right, hello from Indy. I wanted to talk about this transmission pan a little bit more. I've had a few questions about it. I posted this video day before yesterday after I'd gone to the junkyard. So one of the questions was, will this work on a 727? Yeah, absolutely. It's got the same bolt pattern, so it bolts right up. Here's another one got from the junkyard, and it's on a 727. Like I said, there's two kind of pans you'll encounter. One of them's this black E-coat, and the other one is this galvanized pan. I don't remember. I think the galvanized pans are on the earlier, like the 94 or 95. So anyway, this pan bolt pattern is the same all through the 727s and the 46 series transmissions. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 2001 or so, 2000 right there when things would change. Maybe a few years later. I just don't really remember. But yeah, so you can go to the junkyard. You can pull this pan. There's a few things you're going to need to do to use it. First thing is, obviously, it's a deep pan, much deeper than your factory pan. So you're going to need an extension that'll drop your filter down. And those are easy to find. So get you an extension. Put your filter down in the oil. That way you don't draw air. The other thing is, it's really common in the junkyards. Now, let me show you here. You see this rubber plug right here. When it comes into the junkyard, they'll punch a hole in there to drain it for environmental reasons, and then they put that plug in there. And most of them will have it. Now, sometimes you get lucky and find one that they missed. So to use this pan, you've got to fix that. You don't want to run it with just that rubber plug in there. So I come in here with one of those step drill bits shaped like a triangle. I think you know what I'm talking about. And from this side, I come in, I take the rubber plug out, and of course it has a big raised burr from when they punch that hole up. And I just knock that down. Then I set this on a piece of steel, get a hammer, tap it down so it's even and flush again. Then you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with the hole. You could just cap it. You just tack on a piece of sheet metal over it. I usually put in a drain plug. B&M makes these that you can buy, and I don't. I have one. I don't really like them. As you can see, that's what they look like. Well, it goes like this, actually. Sits down, and then on the inside, you put the nylon washer and this nut, and it screws to it. I don't care much for that. What I do is I just put this nut or a nut, cover the hole, and from the inside, and then I tack it on both sides. I tack it on the outside, and I tack it on the inside. And then I just find one of these plugs like this that's the right size, and use that as my drain plug. And it sits pretty close to flush. And so it turns out really nice. So that's how I do it. But again, you could just cap it off again if you wanted. Just tack something over it, piece of sheet metal over it. Come on the inside and do it, however you want to do it. Yes, you'll have this nut in there, so you won't drain completely flush down. You'll still have a 1/4 inch of fluid in the bottom of the pan, but I don't know that that's a big deal. But anyway, so yeah, you can reuse that. And again, they come with this reusable gasket, all for the great price of $14.99. Also, and I know I mentioned this before, but except for the Bushillen carburetor plate, the kickdown cables, all these brackets, all that stuff, I mean, that's modern car parts that you can go to your junkyard and you can get dirt cheap. Like the kickdown linkage where I go, and I take everything. They give me the brackets, the cable, everything for $12. You can go there and you can get this stuff. Transmission pan bolts and just whatever you need. hardware is nice to have. Factory hardware is nice to have. So every time I pull a pan, so yeah, you know, I just pulled 2 pans. Got the whole sets of everything I needed to go with it. The transmission pan bolts and whatnot. So anyway, okay. Hope that answers your question. But yes, you can, off of, say, a 90, well, up through, you know, the 80s, the 727s, and you get in the 90 series Rams, the 94 through 2000, whatever it was. So yeah, find you a 95 Dodge Ram. You'll be able to take this pan, it goes right on your 727. You just need your extension, fix your hole there. You can use that. While you're under there calling around, you might as well grab the mini starter off that 1995 Dodge Ram, which is what I have on this car. And while you're under there, you might as well grab the transmission kickdown cable in case you ever put a you know, an aftermarket intake on there and you got to mess around with that. You'll come out of there with all that stuff for 50 bucks, at least at my junkyard. The pan, the starter, the cable, all those good pieces, parts, plus any extra bolts and nuts and stuff you might need for 50 bucks. And that's a really good deal because, you know, you go get a new deep pan like this and a Boschillen kickdown kit, you're over $400 into that versus what you can do for $50. Okay, guys, so later.